Hello, my name's Barbara Gray from Claritystamp, and today I'd like to play a little with one of our lovely landscape stencils. So there are three of them all together, and I just want to show them to you here. We've got the really neat farmhouse, and it comes with its negative and positive, which is quite handy. And then we've got the bulrushes one, which is fantastic for any watery scenes, again with its negative. And then we've got the hills and dales, which I like a lot, and that's the one I want to use with you today. So those are the three stencils that come in the collection, and as I say, I want to show you how we arrive at this card. So let's take a look here, and you can see it's rather lovely, and I want to show you how we create that beautiful landscape aperture. So what we're going to do first is take some of the white square card that I use for the jelly plate usually, and you can see I've just attached the landscape to the card like so. And then I'm going to put a piece of copy paper underneath, and I'm going to add my moon or my sun, whichever it's to be. And then I'm going to take one of my brushes. I'll use the blue and the green. These are the Clarity Stencil brushes, which are rather lovely. And I think we'll lay down the colour first, just basically, and then we'll start building up from the edges, and I'll show you a couple of tricks. So the first thing I think we'll do is take our Stonewashed. Oh no, let's start with the lighter one, the cloudy blue. And let's just put down a base colour. So first of all, oh, this is very light. Let's see if we can see it at all. So what we're going to do is just dust. Oh yeah, here it comes. So we're just going to dust literally over the top. Now on the little tiny branches, sometimes it's a good idea with really flimsy parts like this to hold them in place when you do this. But you'll see that the brushes, whee, it's got a mind of its own. The brushes, they do a fantastic job. And what we're doing is, you see, we're just loading up the plastic around the stencil, and then we're bringing the colour in like this. So you build up your colour up the sides. There we are. And so on, and so on, and so on. Now, let me pick another colour, for example. I'm going to take weathered wood. It's a slightly darker colour. Okay. And this time I want to introduce our masks. So just gently now, let's add a little tiny bit of colour with our clarity masks. Now we don't want to overcook it, so we'll just, you can always add it, but you can't take it away. So we'll just add a little bit of colour like this, you see? Don't want to put too much in. We can always add these right at the end as well if we prefer. But let's just add a little tiny bit of a cloud, like so. There we are. And I think maybe a little bit around there. Okay. So that'll do for now. We can always add a bit more afterwards, and we can work on the sky later. But let's try the hills. Let's do some work on the hills as well. So this time, I just want to take a piece of copy paper, and I'm just going to tear a random hill like so. And then what we want to do now is start at the bottom. So I'm going to turn the whole thing round, and I'm going to use lettuce for this one. Let's start with lettuce. And once again, I'm just going to load my stencil brush like so. These are pretty fantastic brushes, by the way. And then I just want to add a hill. We can always go in and add more depth in a moment, but let's just decide where we want the first hill, and then just bring in the colour. Right, so in we come, just dust. And see, what we're doing is we're loading up the stencil. So I can take a makeup sponge and I can bring the colour in around the edge like this. And I can go straight into the ink pad, and I can add quite a lot of depth as well around the bottom here, which is what I want. See? So you build this up gradually like so. there, and where the flowers are, you can just pull in like that. And also where the top of this hill is, this is the only one that I want to really pay attention to, and then the rest I'll just add by and by. So you see, you build this up like this, and then when you lift this off, let's take a look at our first hill, and you can see how you're going to build this up now. Okay, and then we'll move the hill, and let's put another hill further up. And again, I'll just put down the first initial colour like so, and then I'll build up. Another great thing, we've got to this stage now, so you can see here we've got our hills. Now, to create more hills, all you need to do is in between just to add a little bit more texture. So for example, I'm just going to go straight into the ink pad now, and then I'm going to just add a little bit more along this edge, you see. And you start on the side and then you drag in. Let's have a look, and you'll see all of a sudden we've got another hill there. And then maybe at the front here, I want another little dip. So it's just literally hills and dales. So you use the torn paper just to add more and more depth. There we go. So now we've done the land. Let's go back to the sky just quickly around this edge, and I want to show you, if I go in with a slightly darker colour, how we can create the illusion that we're really looking in through a hole. So I'll just put the lattice lid on, and let's work with some weathered wood now. This is a nicer darker colour, and again I just want to go around, and I'm going straight onto the plastic, onto the stencil, and then I'm pulling in the edge. So I'm just literally dragging in that edge. So you just create a depth around the outside. Okay, so we're nearly there. Let's take the moon away, and let's just add a moon shadow. Now all I want to do is take our weathered wood, and I'm literally going to just drag straight across. So I'm going to take some weathered wood and just pull it straight across the moon like that, in front of the moon. There we go. That's that done. All good. Okay, and now it's time to remove the mask. You can always put it back. If you're feeling that you could add a little bit more depth, then you can always put the mask back and go back in and add a little bit more colour. It's not a problem. But for now, let's just take this away and take a look at our picture. Looking good. There's one more trick I want to show you to further enhance that feeling that we're looking into a page or looking through a hole in the paper. Now, one of the things that you can do, and I'm sure that you've got these pro markers or Copic pens, alcohol pens, any pen really. And what you want to do, I just want to show you, cover up your artwork while you're leaning on it, and then on the edge where of the stencil like this, I've taken like a dark grey. I think this one's called April Shower, which is quite appropriate. And then all I'm doing is I'm focusing on the edge of the artwork, and this will, again, this will darken. This will give the feeling of depth, especially, for example, on some of the branches. If you come along and you just focus on the lower branch, always on the lower branch, and you'll find it will give this whole picture great dimension. Okay, well, I think that'll do for our background. And now, to really give the feeling that you're looking through the hole, we've got to plant something in the front. So one of my favourite stamps of all time is this beautiful silhouette boy with these birds in flight. And so I'm going to add him to the front of the picture. So he looks like he's just floating past the aperture. And in order to do that, I'm going to use a black archival ink pad. I think a strong black image will be perfect. Ink up the boy with black archival, and then we're going to plant him exactly in front, like so. There we are. Perfect. So we've got our lovely boy, and then we've got this gap here, and it's screaming out for a beautiful sentiment. So I want to show you, look, I've got these amazing words. These are our word chains, and I'm going to pick out the word friendship. There are lots of them. They're very large and lovely, and they're great for scrapbookers. They're great for journaling. Worth looking into. Now, where's my picture gone? Right. So what I want to do now is just mount my word friendship. There we go. And I just want to plant that word in the opening, which is just perfect for a message. So we'll just pop that word in there like so. Okay. Just let the ink soak in. Good. And I've got one more little bird from another collection of ours that I would like to add to the P. There he is. P for perfect. Good. Now let's take a look. So we're nearly there. There's just one last finishing trick that I want to show you, and that's when we just put a really sharp, fine black edge around the ledge. So let me show you. We're just going to whiz around the edge now to finish off the picture, and we're going to use a black Sharpie pen and the ruler with the bevel facing up, and then we'll just run that black all round the picture like so. And then of course we need to clean it, and then off we go. So there we are. So we'll just clean off our ruler, check out what we've done. So we've got a really nice sharp black edge. This is still needs to dry. So we'll take a look at one I did earlier. And then you see you can just mount that nicely on a good square card. And there's our job, all finished. Hope you like that. Thank you very much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.